Hello friends, this is Durga again from Technology Mentor slash ITversity, and so far we have set up Hadoop cluster and we copied data, and then we are actually discussing about details about HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, and we have covered several aspects of it, like what are the daemons or masters and slaves that are involved in HDFS, and also we have seen what are the configuration files involved, which is Hadoop -env.sh, HDFS site.xml, and core site.xml. Now we will see how to validate using different formats. We have briefly seen earlier as well, but here we will consolidate how to validate and also how to troubleshoot the issue. We will understand where the log files are, etc. So first we will talk about web interface for name node and data node. Okay, and for this I will be demonstrating primarily using my cluster on AWS, because it requires SSH forwarding and SSH tunneling to look into these aspects on AWS. For non-AWS with virtual machines, you don't need to go through this pain of SSH tunneling and SSH forwarding, but you can actually follow the same principles to validate and access name node web interface and data node web interface, and also OS commands, etc. So for AWS, you have to do SSH forwarding and SSH tunneling or Foxy proxy. For cluster on our VMs, we don't need to do that. So let's do it on AWS. So my AWS cluster is up, you can see here, and if you are following my videos, I have Ambari server running on master01, and then if you follow my videos where I have set up HDFS, I have set up name node on master02, secondary name node on master03, and data nodes on the slaves. So and also I have explained that we should not have public DNSs like this because of the cost aspect of it and also security aspect of it. For now I left them because while installing the software there are some dependencies which are not part of our M repository server, so I have left them for now. But in typical production cluster or in even AWS, we typically will not have public DNSs for every node, so we have to tunnel through we have to forward to the hosts that are running using private IPs through gateway, and to access the web applications that are running on the private on the servers which are using private IPs alone, you have to do SSH tunneling or Foxy proxy, and there are videos dedicated to that, and we will not get all those details now, but I will demonstrate how we can actually validate our cluster when we have private IPs to deal with, especially in AWS. So let's go ahead and do, if you are using Windows with Cygwin, you have to run SSH agent bash, and then you have to run SSH add and give the give your private PEM file of your AWS key pair. As we are using Mac, and as it has something called keychain, you just need to run SSH add -k command, and then you have to give the path of our PEM file like this. And if you want, you can validate by running SSH add -L, and you can see the details that it is added. And then you can run a command called SSH -A like this to connect to the host, and it will enable SSH forwarding, and we will be able to connect to all the hosts which are using private IPs alone. So I am logging into the gateway node or client node or the node which have our Ambari server, and if you remember, we have configured client when we actually set up HDFS on them. So one way to validate that is by going to Ambari. Here you can click on HDFS, and it will give you details about name node, secondary name node, data node, and all those things. And also somewhere I think it will give the client's information also. Okay, yeah, actually you can click on host here and you can actually expand this thing. And you can see HDFS client here, whereas on others we don't have that. We have name node on 12, we have secondary name node on 13, and then we have data nodes on 14, 15, and 16. So this is how you can actually see where the servers are running, and by following the icons which are self-explanatory, you can determine if there are any issues, and also you can configure alerts to push alerts to you in case any of the processes are down. So this is one way to monitor your cluster, and the other ways is using something called name node web interface and data node web interface. So this one, the web interfaces for name node and data node will comes out of the box with Apache itself. So you don't need to have Ambari for this. You just need to know where your name node is and what is the port number, and then you will be able to access your Hadoop cluster and get a lot of details. So let me show that to you, how to get that port number and and the IP address. For that we need to go to the configuration files, and here you can go to cd etc hadoop conf and then lsltr. You have bunch of them, and we are talking about name node and data nodes explicitly, which are related to HDFS. So name node web interface and data node web interface is only related to HDFS. There is nothing to do with any other components. So the parameters related to that will be most likely in HDFS site.xml file. So you can go to that, and then you can search for dfs.namenode. For all name node parameters, you can search with dfs.namenode here, hit enter, and you can look for the ones which have something called HTTP address. Okay, and here you can see that it's DFS name node HTTP address. So this is the IP address and port number for your name node. But if you see, this IP address is a private IP, and also the desired configuration will have only private IPs. So to access this, if you try without SSH tunneling like this HTTP colon slash slash, and then 50070, it will fail. It will wait for some time and then it will fail. So to overcome that, we need to use SSH tunneling, and SSH tunneling is currently supported in Firefox and Chrome. So let me open Chrome, and I have shown you how to set up SSH tunneling earlier using Foxy proxy. So here before enabling Foxy proxy, you have to run a particular command called SSH. You have to run SSH command with particular parameters called -N -D and port number 8157, which will be available in your Foxy proxy settings. If you want to know about those details, you can go back to my YouTube channel. In this playlist, you have a video for Foxy proxy or SSH tunneling. So that being said, we have to go to the command line again, and then we have to run this command with -ND. Okay, and hit enter. It will hang. That means the SSH tunneling is working as long as it is hanging. And then you can go to your Chrome, enable your Foxy, and now you can say HTTP colon slash slash IP address colon 50070. Hit enter, and then you will start seeing the name node web interface. So here you can see a lot of details. What are the live nodes? What are the dead nodes? What are the decommissioned nodes? If there are any under-replicated blocks, you will see what is blocks and all those things later. But you can see a lot of information. If you click on live nodes, it will go to it will display what all nodes you have, when it have done the heartbeat, how many seconds back it have done the last heartbeat. All those things will be available here. And also you can navigate through all the links here. It will give you the data node volume failures. If you have taken any snapshots, you can have you will have snapshots details, and startup progress, how the last startup happened. All these details will be available here. So some of the things will be clarified over time, but at this time the most interesting the most relevant topics are overview, where you will get the overview of your cluster, and data nodes, where will you get the details of your data nodes in the cluster, and the next one is utilities. And when you click on utilities, you will see two links, one for browse the file system and second for logs. And if you click on browse the file system, you can browse your HDFS file system using this web interface. Okay. Similarly, each data node also each data node also have a web server running, and you will have a means you can get the details using the parameter called DFS data node dot address. And here it's 0000, because on each and every server which is configured as data node will have the web service running with this port number. So as our XML files needs to be consistent across all the nodes in the cluster, they put 0000. And also by having this one, your data nodes you can talk to your data nodes with this port number, either using private IPs or public IPs. So that's let's try one of the data nodes and see how the web interface of the data nodes will look like after SSH tunneling is enabled. For some reason it is not working. I will troubleshoot and add it later. But these are the IP addresses which you need to be familiar with. There can be, if you are giving certification, there will be straight questions on this. So these are very important port numbers which you need to remember. So the first port number is 8020, which is for name node, and 50070 for name node HTTP address, and 50010 for data node HTTP address. Okay, that being said, now let us go to the rest of the topics. Using OS commands, you can actually run now SSH forwarding is enabled, so I can actually SSH to other hosts. So as I have shown earlier in the previous video, you can actually SSH to any of the nodes from one node, especially the gateway node. Tunnel grep -i data node. Sorry, it's a wrong command. It's a wrong command, it's a hung. So let me kill this and start on a different one, and I will be back. I will get back to this in a moment. So now I'm back and I'm running this command remotely. What? How come? Let me see. Set -ovi. Probably it should work. Let me try ec2 -user at ip -10 12.ec2.internal. Yeah, I know what the problem is. I'm searching for data node on 12 on which I have configured name node. Okay, so I can run this name node command, and you can see that the name node process is running on host 12. Similarly, on 15, we can see that a data node process is running. You can validate on each of the nodes. Again, the relevance of this is at times your Ambari might be down, but your Hadoop cluster might be up and running without any issues. So in that case, instead of getting panic, you can focus on restoring the Ambari issues. And otherwise, if you think that if Ambari is down, if you cannot monitor the cluster, then it will add a lot of stress to your to you at that time. So for that reason, you need to understand all these things in detail, it will relieve a lot of stress over time. Okay. Being said that, now let us see. We have already seen Ambari and Cloudera Manager. Sorry, using Ambari, I have shown you how to monitor that. You have services and components, and you can navigate through different pages. Different pages on your Hadoop cluster, and different pages on Ambari, and you will be able to monitor everything. By clicking here, it will give all the details of HDFS, and also you can integrate with SMTP servers and all those things. Those things you can take care with plain vanilla Hadoop also, but it is tedious. Whereas by using Ambari and Cloudera Manager, it will streamline all those details, and it will be pretty quick to configure those things. That being said, last topic in this validation, verifying logs. So there are primarily two ways to verify logs. One is you can when you start the service, okay, it will actually show the progress, and you can click on that, and you can see the logs there. And also by clicking on the service, and coming to alerts, you can see what is going on here. All this information is actually pulled from the logs, but if you want to see the logs, then what you have to do is, let me log into my name node cluster, name node server, which is IP -10 -0 -0 -12, and then you can see cd to var log. This is the location where your log files will be typically, and for each of the tools you will find the directories. For Ambari agent, you have the log directory here. For Ambari metrics monitor, you have the directory here. For Zookeeper, you have the directory here. So for each and every service or component, you will end up having a directory here, and all the logs related to that will be the subdirectories or directly under this directory. So for Hadoop, the location will be var log and Hadoop. You can go there and run ls-ltr command. So for HDFS, there is subdirectory under Hadoop, and you can go there and you can do ls-ltr, and you will see logs related to HDFS here. As this host have the name node, you will have the name node related logs here, and the main log will have this pattern. It will have Hadoop HDFS name node, and you will have the IP address on which it is running, and you can go through that log, and you can see what is how the service is started since the last roll. So every time you restart, the log file will roll into a new log file, taking the backup of the old one, and you can actually get into the log file and see the details of it. And also in for logging, under etc Hadoop conf, there are some configuration files. Especially as Hadoop is developed using Java, it uses log4j extensively for logging purposes, and you can go to the log4j properties to play with the level of logging you want to produce in the log files, or even while running some jobs or running the commands. So here, if you want to override certain things, you can override here, but that is not recommended. You can have to the recommended way is to go to Ambari, and as we are talking about HDFS, where if you want to change logs, you have to click on configs, and you have to check search for the parameter called Hadoop log.dir, and here in the advanced HDFS log4j you will see all the parameters, and you can update here, and you can save it, and you can restart the services, and it will be in effect. So again, coming back to this is very important to understand. There is no direct mapping between the files you have, between the XML files you have for parameters of your cluster and the web interface configs links like this. They pull information from multiple XML files and present you in the form of settings and advanced. And settings will be most generic, most used parameters which you need to modify at initial setup, and advanced will be aftermath. If you want to make certain changes, all the parameters are categorized into advanced. And if you want to make changes in name node, you can click on this, and you can see the parameters, or you can search for the particular parameter and you can modify them directly. So you need to be very comfortable with these things. Okay, that being said, we are done with the validation aspect of it also, and we will see the rest of the content about HDFS in subsequent videos. I hope you are enjoying the content so far on my channel. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. If you have any questions or want to post comment on my videos, feel free to do so on the respective videos, and you can click on like if you really like the content of the videos. Thank you. Bye.